Hey there, everyone. How's it going? I hope everyone is well. Today is another wonderful day, and we are here to do the Course in Miracles lessons. The lesson for today is lesson 83, and it's once again a review. We are reviewing lessons 65 and 66. So let's get right into it. Lesson 65. My only function is the one God gave me. I have no function but the one God gave me. This recognition releases me from all conflict because it means I cannot have conflicting goals. With one purpose only, I am always certain what to do, what to say, and what to think. All doubt must disappear as I acknowledge that my only function is the one God gave me. More specific applications of this idea might take these forms. My perception of this does not change my function. This does not give me a function other than the one God gave me. Let me not use this to justify a function God did not give me. And that was lesson 65 review. Now, lesson 66. My happiness and my function are one. All things that come from God are one. They come from oneness and must be received as one. Fulfilling my function is my happiness because both come from the same source, and I must learn to recognize what makes me happy if I would find happiness. Some useful forms for specific application of this idea are: this cannot separate my happiness from my function. The oneness of my happiness and my function remain wholly unaffected by this. Nothing, including this, can justify the illusion of happiness apart from my function. Okay, so we have two ideas here for today that we need to go over. So let's go ahead and start with number 65. My only function is the one God gave me. So let's understand and let's remember what our function is. Our function is forgiveness, right? So if we are to remind ourselves that that is the only function that we are here to accomplish, then everything else, all of our other problems disappear, and we can focus on that function. And in doing so, and in being capable of accomplishing that, we release ourselves from that prison that binds us and become free. And in doing so, we are now able to be happy, filled with love, connected to God, and emanate that to others so that others can do the same. So that is our function. And we only have one, and that's the one that God gave us. And they should use specific forms that we can use to help us remember that today. My perception of this does not change my function. So when you have something that happens to you today, whatever that may be, you can perceive that and say, oh, this does not change my function. It's still the same thing. I still need to forgive. That is still what you need to do. So whatever happens today, you can perceive it and realize, oh, even though I see this differently, it still goes down to what my function is, which is I need to forgive the experience, the illusion, the perception that I'm having. Still forgiveness. Another form is this does not give me a function other than the one God gave me. So another repetition of something occurs to you today that makes you lose focus on what your function is. Remind yourself, even this that's happening to me should not give me a different function other than the one that God gives you. Okay, so it's all about perception. And then the other one is, let me not use this to justify a function God did not give me. So yeah, when you come across another experience or situation, you might want to say, oh, this is completely different from what I'm supposed to be focusing on, which is forgiveness. But it isn't. It still is the same thing. So it's for us to perceive things differently. That's what the Course is trying to help us do. to focus on what God really wants us to do, which is forgive the situations that we're encountering in this world, because we are perceiving an illusion and believing it to be real. So we first and foremost have to forgive our perception, and that's where everything becomes one. That's why everything is just the same thing. It boils down to forgiveness. So that was a review of lesson 65. Now lesson 66, my happiness and my function are one. So why is that? Why are your happiness and your function one? Well, if we are capable of finding that forgiveness and doing it in all the forms that forgiveness comes, we in turn will be happy, because we are releasing ourselves from that prison that not forgiving creates. So understand that they come hand in hand. You can't have one without the other. If you are an unforgiving individual and you hold that in and don't release, then you are bound in some sort of prison of your own making, and you can't move forward and be happy, because you have all that resentment inside you, whether it be for someone or for yourself. In doing so, you can't be happy. You can't find that peace, that inner peace that you really are looking for and desiring. So you need to forgive, and once you do, comes hand in hand with happiness. So that's what this review of lesson 66 is telling you, and these are the forms that you could use. This cannot separate my happiness from my function. So when you come across a situation where you feel like, oh, I can't really forgive this situation, this experience, realize that you can, and in doing so, you'll be happy. So you cannot separate one from the other. You can't pretend you're happy. There's a little part of you behind, maybe hidden there, that even though you are pretending or thinking you're happy, you really aren't. You're just in a state of, in a certain situation when you think you're happy, but you really aren't. The oneness of my happiness and my function remain wholly unaffected by this. So when you have another situation happen to you and you realize that your function and your happiness go hand in hand. So even though you think, oh, well, this situation doesn't really affect that, it still does, because it's still part of the illusion. It's still part of the illusion that your feeling is real. And so you still got to forgive that perception that you have of any situation. And until you do, and until you realize that your only function here is to forgive your perception, the experiences, all forms of forgiveness have to occur for you to be able to find happiness. And they come hand in hand. One can't come without the other. You can't pretend, you can't believe that you're happy if you're not forgiving certain situations and certain aspects of your perception. So you can't separate them. Understand that. Nothing including this can justify the illusion of happiness apart from my function. So there is another reiteration of the same thing. Nothing, including whatever situation, fill in the blank, can justify the illusion of happiness. Understand that. It's an illusion that you're happy when you're not forgiving. You really are just telling yourself you're happy and trying to make yourself happy, but in reality, there's still a part of you that isn't happy. And if there's a part of you that isn't happy, then you can't wholly be happy, totally, completely be happy. You can only do that when you find forgiveness. So nothing, including this, can justify the illusion of happiness apart from my function. So remember, the only thing that can really make you truly happy with complete truth and complete certainty is fulfilling your function of forgiveness. Okay, so let's go ahead and try these lessons. Remember, like we first go back to the introduction of the review, and it tells you to focus on the 2 ideas for today, 15 minutes out of the day, and concentrate on them. Use the forms that they're listing here, or some similar to the same ones. And then throughout the day, uh, remember the ideas. Try to focus a few minutes on them. That is what all the reviews will be like. So 15 minutes for each, and then here and there throughout the day. All right. You have a nice day. I hope you are all enjoy everything that is happening in your life, because it's all wonderful, as so long as you perceive it that way. So remember, you have a choice. You can perceive it that way. Have a wonderful day.